gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The reason we are all here today is to make sure we vote for this wonderful man.
Thank you so much, Carmen, and thank you for doing this. And you got it? I'm coming over here. Okay. I'm there. Am we good? I'm really happy to see so many people out. When you're born on Labor Day or a holiday, it's so hard to get people to your birthday party. So I really appreciate you all coming. You know, growing up, it was hard to understand, like, why didn't all of my friends come to my birthday party? Well, because it's the last weekend before, you know, going back to school, because I grew up in Massachusetts where they don't go back to school till after Labor Day, like it should be, you know. But I understand why they do it here in Florida. They go back so early. But thank you so much for coming. I decided to run for county commissioner in December because, like so many of us, you know, we're just tired of watching our friends leave because they can't afford to live here anymore. It seems like every week somebody comes up to me and says, I just can't make it anymore. I feel like, you know, the price of paradise is just too high now and I need to go. And I took a look at what was going on at the county level and the budget, because they're the ones who really set our property taxes. And I was astonished to see that in the 7 years that I've lived here, the county budget was only about $215 million when I first moved here. And today, the proposed budget, which they're having their second hearing on Wednesday, at the Harvey Government Center, that budget is proposed to be $715 million, and there's only 83,000 of us. So I decided to run because that's where, like, you know, we're directly making it more expensive for our residents to live. You know, I have a couple of units that I rent to long-term to a school teacher and people that, you know, work on Duval Street and other things. And if I had just raised their rent just by the amount of the increase in the property tax, don't talk about insurance or anything other cost increase, that would have been $100 a month. That's a lot to ask of a school teacher just to pay for a property tax increase that the current county commissioners say doesn't even pay for everything, which it doesn't. Now, if you take away all of the capital projects that we're doing, because, like, I'm a big fan of the airport project because, you know, the more people that come here via air, they don't rent cars and everything, and we, you know, have a better, you know, visitor experience. If you take out all of those capital projects that they're doing, that's about $150 million a year. Where is the other $600 million going? So I'm a former auditor. I worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers. I was an accountant. I started a firm with a few other people doing digital advertising. I had resisted it for so long, but I did assume the title of CFO of that company. And when, you know, we exited and sold that, I was, you know, engineered the sale of our company. And so I really just wanted to ask some questions because I was watching these readings and nobody asked any questions. They just said, okay, that's great. Staff's doing a great job. Good luck. And I still remember the first hometown meeting that I went to. I said, when you get 5 county commissioners who are largely the same, who have these expanding, you know, exploding budgets over the last 7 years, and the meetings, they're supposed to go all day. The meetings get shorter and shorter. That is an environment that is ripe for corruption. And as soon as the word corruption left my lips, I can still hear it in my head. The whole audience went, ooh. So I'm really, really saddened to see that word is coming out more and more almost every day in our news with what's going on with the TDC and the indictments of some of our vendors, what's going on with the Trauma Star and MedStar. And for those of you that don't know what's going on with Trauma Star, it's really, you know, upsetting. 2 years ago, somebody who's affected by addiction broke into the store of you know, life-saving drugs and pain medication, and over a period of time stole over 600 vials of fentanyl, Dilaudid, you know, ketamine. And I just think about how much of that, because it's hard to do 600 vials of drugs on your own, how much of that got into our community. And one of our commissioners said about a year ago when I started going to county commission meetings, our number one job is to keep people in our county safe. That is not keeping our county safe by any means. And I don't want to say this is a great thing, because it's not a good thing for our county to see all of this coming out. But if we just have one person on that commission asking questions, asking, tough questions, and saying, like, we need to make a change, turn the page, and we can, have at the very least some transparency and knowledge as to what's going on in our county. Because the further down the ballot you go, the more important those offices are to you. The people that affect your day-to-day life is way more important than whoever is president of the United States and whoever, is your congressman, who's one of 435 and everything. Your vote for city commissioner, county commissioner, supervisor of elections matters so much more. And what matters so much less is what party they're from. The fact that we have a partisan supervisor of elections is beyond me. Thank you, yes. And so I'm going to ask a favor of all of you. I'm running as a fiscally conservative Democrat, and I'm a Democrat for one very good reason, is I do believe that there is a role for government to play in improving the lives of its residents. But I'm not for wasting money, and I'm not for allowing all this lack of controls and allowing people to steal drugs. And I'm not for intimidating people and threatening retaliation of poor Chief Hudson. If you read the grand jury report, it says certain county commissioners threatened retaliation to Chief Hudson for not dropping his request for an audit of the Trauma Star and MCFR units. And that's astonishing to me. So we're going to run this campaign on the issues. You're never going to hear me say a bad thing about Jim Scholl, because I'm going to tell you he's a very nice person. He's just wrong on a lot of the things that we care about. He was appointed by Ron DeSantis a couple of years ago, and nobody ran against him 2 years ago, and really give him a chance. He'd only been there for a few months, and it was but in the last 2 years, the county commission, and I'm not singling out Jim on his own, because it is a team of 5 there. They have done so many things that is just so wrong for our county. And the decisions that we make today will matter what the keys look like in 20 years. And I'm turning 49. Thank you.
Happy birthday!
Today I turned 49. And when I am 69, which I think is still kind of young, I'm going to care what the keys are like, and I hope that I can say 20 years from now, we did the right things. We stood up to big development and we said no.
Woo!
We stood up and said we want to preserve the safety of our county, and we put in good controls. And we also want to preserve the sanity of our county by saying no to more development and more traffic, because if you spent more time up in the Upper Keys and in Isla Mirada and Key Largo and all those constructions, man, you really do pray when you take that left on US 1. And so it's so important for us to make those decisions, because when the county commission makes a decision, the effects is not felt for years to come. And we want to make sure that we are doing the right thing for our environment, for our for the residents that are here, and especially for our workers that make this whole place the magic that it is. We are a tourist destination. I'm never going to hear me say we need, fewer tourists or anything. We do need smarter tourism. We need to have more sustainable tourism.
Woo!
But that's our business. That's our business, and we have to, acknowledge that and make sure that we are doing that in the right way, which is the one reason why I'm so much in support of the airport. But I also just want to comment on this weekend, because I had so much fun this weekend, and I loved Jimmy Buffett before I even got here. And last year I was in New York when he passed away, and I was so sad to see and really inspired to see all the people that had come out last year, and to be able to participate in this weekend. And Jordan, who helped coordinate the Just a Few Friends thing, left, but it was such a wonderful weekend, and that's the spirit of the Florida Keys. So I'm going to leave you with one thing. First, I want to do one thing before I ask you one thing. But I want to thank Comedy Key West for hosting us. Thank you so much. I want to thank our amazing campaign team, starting with Tiffany, who's our campaign manager. Thank you to Melissa, who's been such a wonderful, I think she had to go, but Karen, thank you for being our treasurer. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, Jim, for being here and doing this. And Blake, who's been working on really hard and doing this. My business partner, Jamie. Jamie and I met mere days after I arrived here, and I was talking to her, and she was working at a restaurant, and she's like, "What do you do?" And usually when I tell people what I do, I say I'm a dentist, so I don't have to talk about it anymore because I was a political consultant for many years. But I said I was a political consultant, and she's like, "For who?" And I'm like, "The Democrats." And she said, I helped organize the Women's March. And you're going to be my new best friend. So thank you for that. And thank you, Francesca, for all the work and stuff like that. And my best friend, Patty, who came down here. Thank you so much for being here. Allie, hee-haw for the selfie thing. And absolutely most important is my beautiful and amazing husband. Who I like to say really encouraged me to actually run. Now, I'm a political consultant. I'm always the guy behind the guy. And when I was looking for somebody to run, because I thought it was so important that somebody challenged somebody in the county commission, and I was, looking for people, and Fran's nodding her head because I think I asked her to run.
I was a chicken.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot to undertake, and I get it. I suggested that maybe I could do it, and he said, "Well, you have the time and you have the energy, go for it and do your best," and that's what we're gonna do. And that's what I'm gonna ask of all of you. We have 60 days from tomorrow to win this election. This is not about party. This isn't about, what's going on in the country and everything. This is about what's going on right here, and we need to say enough is enough. So we just opened a campaign office on Truman. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but that is gonna be our hub of people wanting to get signs, wanting to make phone calls. We've got door knockers and sheets there to sign up. This is a people-powered campaign. Every $25 that you can contribute really helps. We've had over 400 donors in this campaign, which really blows my mind when I look at our database. So thank you so much for this. And if anybody has any questions or thoughts, please, we've got a couple seconds if anybody wants to ask anything, but I think I spoke enough right now. No, thank you guys.